Welcome back to Behind the Box. Today we're bringing you a review of Donning the Purple. This was sent to us by Board Game Exposure. So even though we haven't paid for the game, that won't impact the quality of our review. Now, just for your information, it is a prototype that we're going to be looking at, so anything you see might be subject to change.
So, Donning the Purple is an asymmetrical game for 1 to 3 players that uses area control, king of the hill, and action selection. Each person will take on a different role. So one person will be the emperor, someone might be the heir to the throne, and then someone else would be the senator. Now, it plays over 4 rounds. The objective is to get the most victory points by the end of the game, and you'll do this by defeating opposing armies, by earning money, feeding your people, and just completing different objectives and different tasks. So things like moving around the board and building buildings. The thing I really love about this game is the asymmetrical nature. So each character plays differently. So the emperor has their own special things that they can do. The heir to the throne, they have their own stuff that they want to be doing. But the really cool thing about the game is that if the emperor dies and there's an heir to the throne, they become the emperor. So they then take on those responsibilities that the emperor has to deal with up until that point. And I love that. I think that's such a cool way of implementing different characters into a game like this.
Yeah, another thing that I like that adds variety is the cards that play a part in the game. So when you first start out, you get this hidden agenda. And like, for instance, one time I had the hidden agenda of having more money than him. And that changes how you play the game going forward. And then also in your hand are these plot cards that could, if you play them at the right time, really make a big difference to keeping you above water or not. And also, though, these event cards are going to be coming out as well. Now, quite a few of these are pretty bad for the Emperor, but they're interesting. So it's stuff like grain shortage, enemy movement, so they're getting closer to the capital, that kind of stuff. And then, on the bright side, though, you've got these forum cards. So these are things that give you more options for you to use your actions towards. Maybe you can make the empire more happy, or maybe you can just bulk yourself up, make yourself stronger.
Yeah, the action selection in the game is really cool. That's the core thing of the game. So everyone has a player board, and each of these boards have identical actions on them. So, like I said, things like moving around the board or building buildings. You can even do assassination attempts on the emperor, or you can bribe the senate, so you get a little bit more power and control on what gets made. And the really cool thing as well is that on other people's turns, if they do a certain action, so say for example move, you can choose to follow them. It costs you 1 of your stamina points, and you only have 10 of those in a 2-player game. But it means that you get to do actions on other people's turns as well, and sort of react to things, which is really nice. Now, if you're not the Emperor, in a 2-player game, you only get 3 actions. And so if you do all 3, the stamina points that you use on those actions, you don't regenerate, you don't gain them back. So out of the 10, you go down to 7. If you ever reach 0, you die. Now, you do come back, but you come back with negative victory points. The Emperor gets a +1 action that they can do, so they'll always have 1 more than everyone else, and they get their own unique set of actions, so they can build armies, move the armies, and build viaducts to try and prevent things like famine and grain shortages and things like that. It's really, really cool. I love that part of the game.
See, that sounds nice, but when you're the Emperor, even though you've got that extra action, it doesn't always feel like you have all these choices because you're burdened with that responsibility of taking care of the empire. So, you know, I didn't always feel like I had all the freedom to do what I wanted and to achieve that hidden agenda. I often found myself just stuck in a rut, almost waiting to die, wanting someone else to take this burden off my shoulders. Like I didn't have as many choices as other people had, so that was kind of frustrating and stressful for me.
Yeah, I get it. I mean, for me, because I was the heir, so one of the games we played, I was the heir to the throne, and for the first 2 rounds out of the 4, I could do whatever I wanted to do. I felt like the sky's the limit for me. So long as I don't kill myself by using my actions, I can bribe the senate, I can build my estates to make more money, or build other buildings to make myself more powerful. But then you died after the 2nd round, because you just couldn't keep up with the demand that was placed on you. And all of a sudden, my game transformed. I wasn't able to just do what I wanted. And it was, for me, it was really thematic. It was like I was this snotty kid just going around throwing money all over the place. to all of a sudden going, no, I need to step up. This responsibility is now mine. Look at all these armies. Okay, I need to take care of that. And, oh, I need to feed everyone. I need enough money to buy grain for the people that I can't feed. It was a completely different game. And I loved that. I thought that was so cool, so thematic, and it really did feel like I stepped up to the plate and had to really try my best to achieve that.
For me, it was such a relief to not be the emperor. It's amazing to die and like hand that burden over to someone else, because then you can finally like start working towards your own things. Mm-hmm. When you're the emperor, all the little frustrations of people getting in the way of what you want to do are amplified. So, you know, you'll have people starving over there and you need to build these viaducts to like help protect them from famine. And then this guy comes around, bribes the Senate, and now they want to build his little estates instead of my viaducts, which are going to help everybody out.
Yeah.
It's really frustrating. And then also the enemy comes in, so the armies are like moving close to the capital and stuff. And when they're there, it destroys any of the buildings that you put there. And so I just hated that, because you put all this work and all this effort and money into protecting the empire, and then everybody seems to be tearing it down from you.
Yeah, it's interesting. It's not really a take that game, but it definitely has that element of frustration that you were experiencing from me just getting in the way and just destroying your plans. And we should mention that if the enemy ever gets too powerful, we all lose.
Yeah.
So it is in my interest to make sure that doesn't happen as the heir, but I don't necessarily need to do that right away. You know, I can leave most of it to you. But we should mention as well, the Emperor is actually a really strong position. Now, it's not easy to do, but if you can maintain the status quo, if you can keep the enemies at bay, if you can keep your people fed, you'll make a lot of victory points from the happiness of your land, and you'll make a lot of money from taxes from people that just have to pay you money. And so it can be very powerful. It's just not easy to do. And my only frustration for the game, it's a small one, and it's a little bit more thematic than gameplay, although it's slightly gameplay. As the Emperor especially, you can't move your armies with yourself.
Yeah.
So if you want to move to try and attack and defeat an army of oncoming enemies, you either have to move in yourself and exceed the combat level by playing plot cards, which feels weird when you go, oh, I defeated on my own 6 whole armies. That just feels a little bit strange. Or you have to build up a bigger army force to then move them into the army space, the enemy space. I wish there was a way, even if it's just by paying the 2 stamina to move yourself and your army simultaneously to have that combined force. That feels like a little bit more thematic, a little bit more correct. And we did find a couple of times that we would try and do stuff like that and go, no, we have
to keep reminding each other, no, you can't do that.
But other than that, honestly, for me, this game was fantastic. I had a lot of fun. It was really strategic. The way that the asymmetry worked was not like anything I've ever actually experienced before. It felt like, you know, some games you take a character and then you are just that character until the end of the game, and then next game you go, oh, I want to try a different character. In this one, it kind of feels like I get to try all the stuff every game, which is really, really cool.
It does keep it interesting.
Oh, yeah.
I did appreciate the variety, and it was nice to watch you enjoy yourself. But for me, the experience was just all too stressful. I would never volunteer to take this down and play it if it were up to me.
Yeah, it's not really your sort of thing. It is, like I said, it's quite stressful. It's quite frustrating. You don't really like things that are take that or similar to take that. So I do get that. For me, I really liked it. The artwork was great. The theme was really cool. And the gameplay was just really nice. So, yeah. If you want more thoughts on the game, I'll leave a couple of links down below to the Board Game Geek page and to a couple of the other Board Game Exposure reviews that they've done as well as our own social media as normal. And if you played the game or if you have questions about it, leave those down below in the comments and we'll get back to you on those. Yeah, till the next one, we'll see you soon. Bye.
Bye. This is a board game. Purple, which is...
Still a board game. And King of the Hill. It's...
Should we start over?
I think, yeah, because I said it's and then stopped talking.